Okay.
There's another chair here, Faye. There's a chair right there.
Right here, Faye, this one.
Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order.
In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which our organization stands is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epiquet PEI, Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this land for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future.
Declaration of interest.
No. None. None.
All in favor? You not in favor?
Oh. I don't know if they actually vote on declaration.
I don't know.
No.
We don't.
Okay. Move on. Approval of agenda.
It's a big one, let's get going.
Yeah, it's been amended to add recreation area E under new business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
One, two, three, four, five.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 9th, 2025.
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm staying, I'm sorry, I haven't read them.
Okay.
So,
I probably didn't, I don't have a printer
So
at
next
the moment.
delegations. Alicia McDonald.
she's
Not
not
here.
here yet, so I'd say we just carry on.
Keep-
And
Okay.
if she comes.
Okay, Paul McLean, pickleball.
Yeah, we just mostly want to be kept in the loop for what's going on with our little corner of the community center.
Sure.
Yeah, and what's yeah, what's the what? What's the price put up?
It was $1.
Did
Yeah.
you notify us?
Yes.
Yes.
Just the message that I sent to the Facebook
So we
group.
never got it in writing?
Nothing in writing, no.
No, but we'd like it in writing. If that's okay.
Who should I send it to?
Anybody on to come up.
We'd like an official name for representative of pickleball. So we can send it to one person.
That's,
Is that okay?
yeah, it is. It is okay, Gary, but it's, can we take time to do that? Not tonight?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Where are we?
Any other?
Well, yeah.
Is there?
We do have one more. And I don't know if it's hearsay or what it is, but we heard that you were putting in a new floor. And when, is that true?
We have applied for funding, put in.
Okay, and then we heard when the new floor goes in, we no longer be able to play it.
That's not the case.
No.
Thank you very much. That's all we need to know.
Only a rumor.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's why
But
we're
it
here.
might be a good idea.
Conversations. We actually had conversations around ensuring that somebody from pickleball was part of the selection process so that it would meet the requirements of pickleball and be strong enough for you guys. So that's,
Yeah, I was gonna ask what
Thank
type,
you.
what
That's
type of
awesome.
floor were you looking to get?
we have no idea yet and planned on having somebody involved.
Thank you. Yes,
So is that it for pickleball?
I think so. Cheryl, James?
I'm just wondering if the rates go up for everybody that uses this community center or just us?
You wanna speak in that in?
Um,
You know more than I do on that.
it was, yeah, it was decided because of the, scuffing from the paddles
Stuffing where?
on the walls.
There's only one scuff mark, and that's not one place to scuff.
That's because it was repainted on Monday.
I know that. I didn't
And
finish
who was
my
it?
second. I didn't finish it, so I didn't finish it. There's only one place it's scuffed, and that's where the sandbox is. That's the only place we ever touched them.
I respectfully disagree.
I
There's
respect
stuff
you.
all over.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
That's not us.
That's not true. That's not from us. That's all I'm telling you. The only place we hit the wall is where the sandbox is.
Well, many more scuffs.
There may be many more scuffs, but it's not from us, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. And I myself will continue to play $2. I will not play 3. There's nothing to do with the tune, but I'm not playing 3 until everybody plays 3. Because we are not doing any damage whatsoever, except for that sandbox. Is that not true?
And now
We
it's
pickleball players know that.
And when we play outdoors, it's $2, $3, but
Yeah, when we play outside, we still collect money, but
That is a decision for him.
So, and on that note, what do the ball hockey teams pay? Are they, $3 each per player?
I honestly don't know. Last time the ball hockey was $1,000 donation.
that was from Chris Cuddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone, but he's gone. But my thing is, out there, they're playing out there tonight.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't think they should be charged anything myself.
Well, I don't think they are charged, are they?
Not that I know.
Not that I know of.
So then we shouldn't pay anything when we're out there.
No.
When you
Not
play
out
outside,
there,
certainly
it's
not.
just in here, right?
But even in there,
Well, why should you have to not pay $3 like everybody else?
oh, you just told me everybody else wasn't playing $3.
Well, I'm saying the pickleball is paying $3. That's what we agreed on that price.
You guys did,
Yes.
the card players and shop,
Our players aren't running around in there.
and the curling.
Curling's not there anymore.
No, curling is there until.
Oh, yeah.
But it's 8 people pushing rocks around.
It is.
They're not counts, not balls.
We're not bouncing off walls. I don't know where you get this.
Somebody should come in and watch them.
No, we're not.
You just said, Carol, the only place.
Yes, that's
is
one
on-
place.
So it is getting more.
And when you guys did the restoration, you should have taken that and put it somewhere else. Like we suggested.
Oh, don't, no. Pickleball was going to look after.
Okay,
it.
we gotta
And I'm
get
getting
on
one
this.
here.
We gotta move
We're
on.
not afraid, we're not gonna look at this because,
Okay.
and we went wrong.
Well, you have the opportunity.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're moving on to Cal and Jen.
Okay, look,
What do you want to know?
there's questions there, hours of operation, what's going on, is that basically what?
Yep.
Hours of operation, well, we do have a liquor license, which says we can go from 9 o'clock in the morning, or 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 a.m., which I'm not gonna do, of course. But anyway, usually we run from 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 9. And we have live music, they usually end at 9, people hang around till 10, 10:30, could go to 11. probably looking to shut down at 9 o'clock on most nights, and 10 o'clock is live music, and we have a Fall Flavors event and a concert coming up, so I don't think Fall Flavors one too late, that's not.
No, look, what is it like 11 o'clock, the sound bylaw, like, is that kind of the
Yeah.
stand, like,
Whatever, you know.
we're at,
There is, we don't have the progress to.
And I usually turn the music down around 9 or 9:30 anyway, it's pretty quiet back down back there. Fire alarms.
Is there any noise complaints? Because I live really close to it and I don't hear.
I live very close to and I don't have any issues.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. We usually go dance to it.
We sit on the porch
Especially
and
with
listen.
grandkids.
We do have a couple of things, like a little bit of different offerings this year that, like we're thinking we may do breakfast. We're kind of we had hired someone, but she's having some health issues right now, so we're not sure where that's gonna go. Then we thought we'd take advantage of, no other restaurants being open Monday, Tuesday in the area, and probably do something there.
A lot of people are always coming saying, we have food, and they have oysters, so I might put it like nothing too great, it's just something for somebody to eat.
Yeah, we were looking at a wood-fired pizza oven. That was an awesome opportunity. Somebody was loaning us, but it was just too much for way too much.
I'm not making pizza 50 cents.
We're doing our trivia nights, which I think people are enjoying, and
Thank you.
we're doing our trivia nights. We're doing our live music Saturdays. We've got a lot of people asking to play this year, which is nice. Like people from all over, Maritimes and Gordon Belcher wrote the other day, and it's like, can I please play this summer? Can I please? So we're going ahead to like Canada Day. We would like to talk to the community to see what's involved here, and can we tag on to afterwards, and maybe people can come, not as a hey, just as a kind of place to, what else? I know the Fisherman's Memorial thing, but it's kind of separate from, that we've been contacted.
Yeah, there's some ideas for that too, we can bring that up later.
And July 25th, we do have our annual kind of concert. I can't actually say who's playing because it's not our concert. CFCY owns the concert, so they're going to announce that, and they're going to put a press release out. So they're using our venue, and they're going to bus people in. But I mean, we're not talking 1,000 people. It's just
It's not good Woodstock.
Or
maybe it will.
2020,
somewhere along.
We got approved for another Fall Flavors event. They actually we turned it down last year, and they came to us how many times? And they're like, please put another one on. Like, your reviews were great, blah, blah, blah. So that's October 4th. So, and then September 1st, the date of Jimmy Buffett's death.
It's a Monday, but we're gonna have a Margarita Monday.
It's the holiday, it's a long weekend, and we have a guy named Margarita Wayne, and he just sings Jimmy Buffett songs, and we're gonna tell everybody to come wear carrot shirts, and we have 2 full-time staff this summer. And happy to, we'll collaborate with anybody. Anybody wants to do a pop-up, anybody wants to do like we did with Trina, or and
I think we have the back to school bash that day this fall. Is the back to school bash on Labor Day?
It's usually the Saturday. I think Labor Day's Monday.
It's Monday.
It's
The
on
third.
Is it Monday?
Yeah.
Whatever it's, the 8th,
Yes.
I think it is
Yeah.
the holiday.
Yeah.
8th of September. Yeah, it's the 8th of September.
no, September 1st. It's early this year.
It's the 8th.
I know it's
On the
yours.
calendar. I checked the
Labor Day
calendar.
is September
When
1st.
I booked,
Labor Day is September 1st.
it says on that calendar, the 8th.
No, it says on the first.
Oh, that's it?
Jen, did you say you were gonna be doing?
You were
lunches?
looking at
Is
the
it just
yellow.
Monday, Tuesdays, or?
Well, it's not necessarily lunches, we're just like we talked to Boris and maybe we do, and we don't, maybe we're gonna, we'll have a food truck and a pizza oven coming for our concert, with H for High on Thursdays.
So would that be Monday, Tuesdays, or would that be all, like, food available all week?
Yeah, we don't even want to announce it yet because we're like.
We might try Monday, Tuesday, if there's demand, we might let it go.
Just so I have it in my notes.
Yeah, if anybody wants to cook or.
Make pizza.
And we are doing our, I mean, it doesn't, we're doing our guided invite tours, but kind of a different flair this year, so, and they're kind of getting a lot of, yeah. So I'm not sure where we're finding the time, but.
It would be interesting if someone could track how much money this business, Nelly's is bringing into Marine Harbor. Tourism.
Somebody tell me where it's all going.
It comes in. Well, there is a new job. We did analytics, so I hired a consultant, and she spent the whole day with me on Monday, and she said the economic impact. And she ran the numbers, and, you know, it was based on tourism, based on our numbers, based on, so I mean, like, she said, like, this is amazing. Look at these numbers of, like, the economic impact for people just even staying in the area, shopping in the area, eating at Harborview, or, you know, staying at Ocean Acres, coming down just for our. Anyway, so she did show me numbers that were actual numbers. But, so, what were we gonna say for our concert? Like, we'd be happy to have any.
A 50-50 or something?
Yeah, like, or if anybody in our council wants to, you know, I'm not asking for your volunteer,
Do
I'm just saying if anybody wants to.
Anyway, you can come with, you know, there's gonna be a few people around and make money for the community. You're more than welcome to come on down.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, anyway, it's some Nashville musicians, so should, I think, generate and tickets are only $25, we're keeping them cheap, and that's kind of where
So we're
we're
good for accommodations too.
I would, yeah, but the thing is, we had it announced for the 26th, but now CSUI is saying we really want to do it the 25th, Friday. So I'm waiting for confirmation, and then we're gonna kind of contact everybody again to try to.
All right, Shakes, we'll move on.
Yeah, that's all I'll say.
That's great, thanks for.
I was hard, that's all, I was really
Yeah.
enjoying the meeting.
Now, we need to keep. Okay, you're gonna watch? I'm gonna say.
Business arising from previous meetings. Native Poster Bureau project.
Still haven't heard anything from them.
Correspondence, I received a note from Sean.
So the note from Sean was to do with the dog park, so I did include it in your packages, and I had spoken to Gary about it. It's specific to improvements and things
Okay.
pertaining
Did
to
you look
that.
at it, Gary?
I have not read it, no.
And Sean said he would like to be involved when that project, if it gets approved, he would like to be involved as somebody who uses it regularly. He felt he would have good input.
Well, I'll talk about that later, but
Yeah.
we have money, hopefully, approved to fix it up.
By later, do you mean tonight? Yes,
Yes.
I use it a lot too.
Yes. It's well used.
Okay, CAO report.
Auditors were back. The AER was completed, and I submitted that to Curtis this afternoon. We should be hearing about the spring intake. He gave a couple of tweaks to some of our submissions, and Gary and I will, and Marlene will probably put our heads together for a little bit just to decide on the one in the capacity building was a flat out no. So we need to decide what we're gonna do with that money, if we're gonna put it to another project.
Are we able to apply for a new project now, or is it strictly have to do some other
Yeah.
ones that have been applied for, but not approved?
Or the ones that are applied for, that not, you could take that and just say, okay, well, that one is now going to be this amount. So.
Can it be resubmitted? Reframed and.
Not until fall now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Cause I just had some thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, but, so we can, put,
Yeah.
like you said, put our heads together and.
And I submitted the request for additional funds for the community fridge. I haven't heard back yet, so there's a balance of 2,669 still in the account, but I just got some receipts
What's our year end on that?
on the community fridge.
$2,600 in the bank, when we do renew that.
I just
How long
applied.
have we got to spend it?
Oh, it's no deadline.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just applied for more funding, so whether we get it or not.
It was surplus left over from last year.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It's not a use it or lose it
No.
situation we've got.
No,
Okay.
and not as of now anyway, from what I
No, it
understand.
was a one-time grant of $5,000.
The fridge is really, incredible how much that's used.
It is.
You're kidding.
The group that runs the fridge has a new buyer, being my pretty close person to me, and she cannot believe how quickly the stuff disappears. She puts it in one day, and the next morning,
It's gone.
most of it's gone. So it's unbelievable, the need of that. So, yeah. She's,
Because some people don't think we put anything in there.
Oh, I know,
Because it's
I know.
empty,
And it's.
Sometimes it's filled twice a day. And it's still empty. So, you know.
disappears quick.
So if there's no questions on the CAO, we can go into financials.
I know that we,
Any questions on financials?
Have we accounted for the rural growth initiative on this balance sheet?
So we did not end up in the red.
Great. Good stuff. The rural growth initiative, if you're wondering what it was all the improvements that's been done to this building, like new kitchen, the double doors, the barrier-free access, Pam projects. You maybe just explain a little bit what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it was a combination of actually 3 different funding sources. So there was the CCBF funding, community capacity building funding, the rural growth initiative, and emergency center enhancements. So it was all 3 different sources of funding that allowed us to close off the second entrance or 4th entrance into the kitchen. It allowed us to create that passageway, to create the barrier-free doors for folks coming in, which also included the double doors that are at the front now instead of 2 doors side by side. There's new heaters in the bathrooms. We now have created a storage area for the chairs in behind where the theater is. And all the improvements that were done in the kitchen with all of the new appliances, the stainless steel, that was all through that funding source. So if everything works out right, hopefully I'll be able to get a grant to finish the wish list that was created by everybody. This was a whole group of people that came together and provided their wish list for the community center. So the only thing outstanding is to create enhancements in one of the bathrooms so that we can put in a washer and dryer and a shower in the event of an emergency. Folks would be able to access those if they weren't able to at home.
Those be going off washer dryer?
No, no. And they're only available in the event of an emergency, just because you don't have a washer and dryer.
Well, I hope the kitchen users get to use some utilities.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was part of the plan. So if we're able to access that grant down the road a little bit, we will get Reggie and his crew to come in and complete those improvements as well. But that's what we're at now. So the only thing that's outstanding, I guess I might as well finish it since we're talking about it. The only thing that's outstanding is the new theater curtains. To meet fire code, we needed to order new curtains. And we purchased those through all of the donations that were made to Faye Fraser's Memorial Fund that was for the community center. And we spoke to the family and they were pleased that we're going to use it for something like that. So we're waiting for those to come in.
So we need a mover and shaker for the CAO report and financials.
I'll move. I'll shake. Second.
All in favor?
John, what's that? Hey.
Reports of committees, planning, Deputy Mayor McCaddy.
Okay. I've got a couple here, so I'll just run through them for those that haven't had a chance to read the stuff there. I'll start with the finance and capital expenditures. You heard Councilor Royal mention the CBF, that's the gas tax, that's the old gas tax program, it's called the Canadian Building Fund now. 4 new projects were submitted for approval. One got flat out declined, which was called capacity building put forward by Councillor Chapman. And we were kind of surprised about that because it lists as capacity building as one of the eligible items for community building fund, and they said no. And the only people they will talk to is Ann. They will not talk to me anymore. They don't like the hard questions. So Ann has to relay questions back and forth, and they said no, capacity building. It does look, now it's for $15,000. It does look like the rec area upgrade, we call the dog park, the soccer field, the community garden, that whole area over there is going to get approved. And we put that in at $46,000. The main hall flooring that we heard about earlier tonight, that was put in at 31 and looks like it's probably going to get approved. And we also, for the 4th one, we put in for a new solar array around the lagoons, the sewage lagoons, and that power generation from those solar panels will be used to feed maybe it'll do everything, but certainly through the sewage utility, through their uplift stations, and if there's anything extra, it'll be out on the grid. So those are the 3 outstanding, like I say, the capacity building got kiboshed. So that 15K is now eligible to move in. One of these other 3, I'll talk about maybe 31,000, not nearly going to do it for the flooring. Maybe the rec area upgrade on the dog park, maybe the 46 isn't enough, but we'll get some quotes and see where that's going to fall. We do have one project approved. Sorry, just a second there, Natalie. We do have one project approved, and that was brought forth last year, and that's to improve the Main Street access from Main Street into the cenotaph and then further up to our front door here with concrete and some other embellishments along the side, probably some service areas or something to make it look nice. So that got approved. Having said all that, the new capital program has been approved for 10 years at $100,000 a year. First $500,000, the first 5 years, there's still money available. And we can't put any new project applications in until the fall now. But if you look at all our projects we've done over the last few years, and all the balances that are in those projects that are complete, that money will now be available for either transfer to an existing project that needs it, or apply for a new project come fall. So, and I'll say it again in public, if anybody's got any ideas, there still might be $100,000 in there for the coming fall intake. So please, I've had lots of ideas from different people, and we're actually incorporating some of them into the upgrade over here, like shelters from the sun. Look at you, Natalie. And wind for people using the park. And I think that whole area is going to be quite but it already is fairly nice, so keep that in mind, there's more money there, and new projects are still being sought, for sure. Repairs and maintenance to this, my budget this year is about 35 to 39,000 in that area for infrastructure maintenance, and we're gonna spend about 20 of that on painting this building exterior. That's one project, and eavesdropping, especially on the north side, because of water getting down close to the building and working its way through into our foundation. So painting first and then eavesdropping. And then the rest, whatever's left over, was still of your regular upkeep and maintenance of our HVAC systems, our computer systems, our kitchen, everything. It's all part of the infrastructure here, so we'll spend the 39,000 for sure. And just a little bit of additional information while everybody's here. The Fisher's Memorial, and there's Carol's on the committee, as is Marlene, myself, and Jackie and Neil Byron. We've met a few times. Everything's starting to come together for May 31st. And Kelly's Landing has graciously offered to get involved. And we'll follow up with them for sure, Jen, how we can make it all work. It's going to be a big night. 7 p.m. on May 31st at the wharf. It's going to be a really special evening for everybody. So I hope you can all be there and hope the weather's like it is right now. And finally, the Heritage Park dedication, the little circular park out front here with the old school bell on it. That's going to be officially dedicated. Thank you, Paul. And we're going to have it at Canada Day at 2:30 p.m. And it's not going to be as extravagant and involved as the Fisher's Memorial, but it will be a poignant event too. We're going to get Elsie here, the last school teacher, who has agreed to come and pull the tarp off and hope the bell won't fall off the pedestal, and give it a ring 2 times. And we're going to invite whoever, anybody of course can come, but it'd be nice for as many ex-students to come as possible. My wife is one of them, and it'll be a nice half an hour affair there on Canada Day. Great deal. And yeah, that's my reports.
Was there a question from the floor?
Natalie, did you have a question?
I have been 2 sections going on. The first one was Marlene's capacity building.
Yeah.
What does that?
Yeah,
include?
I'd like to speak to that, but you go ahead with your second question.
The other question was just, well, it wasn't a question. We had planned the other memorial celebration. We had some donations of hot chocolate and things like that. For all of that stuff. Yeah, they're still sitting at my house. So I don't know if you'll need them for that, or if we want to save it for something else, because in May 31st, I don't know if anybody's going to want to have hot chocolate.
Are you talking about the Fisherman's Memorial?
Yes.
Well, Gary had said that maybe the village should donate hamburger and hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then we haven't decided yet, we're just gonna go with the hot chocolate, and that's why I never contacted you, because I'm waiting to see what.
You probably wouldn't want
Still
hot
coming
chocolate,
together.
so we'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
Refreshments sometimes.
Well, we always bought it for the last time, and we haven't, so how long?
Yeah.
What time of day is it, Fisher's?
7 p.m.
Unless you can get something in the hot chocolate, or short of over
It's
there.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday night.
Don't have any problems.
I wouldn't do it to you on a fishing night.
Yeah, so I'll speak to the capacity building because that can mean a lot of different things, right? So the way the grant request was framed was to get some funds to bring in some expertise to help the council engage community members in future planning for Murray Harbour and area. The reason actually that it was declined and to follow up with them, and the answer was in regards to work that was done by a previous iteration of the council that was similar in nature, is my understanding. That was their perspective. The official plan of bylaws work that was done 5 or so years ago, and was supported through that program. So they felt that that was kind of one and the same, and didn't want to approve funding into that same kind of area again. But Anne has given me the 4-inch binder that went along with that work, which I'm going to comb through and see if there's any gems in there, and we'll keep trying to move forward with something. in that arena.
Okay.
Question on the Fisherman's Memorial and the Heritage Garden. We have the capacity for planting. And what are the plans, please, for what's going to be planted there? Because the dandelions are very, very ambitious.
Well, last year Shannon planted hostas all around it. I think it was an insurance thing. I don't know if they were still.
They haven't survived,
Did
maybe
they
one.
make it? No. Okay.
It's a little early.
Well, we'll see, but yeah, I think.
Yeah,
want
it's
something
early for us.
Yeah.
Perennial bushes there or something for sure, John.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Because I mean, we'll have to have something there by May 31st.
Yes.
Did they plant them at the Fisherman's
Yeah.
Memorial?
No.
Hostas they did.
Oh, okay, I thought they were just
Yeah.
up here.
But that's what a harsh environment down there.
Yeah.
We'll find something to get there around there
Yeah.
that looks good and survives. Thanks for bringing that up.
You know, it's also good for Parks Department because
Yeah.
both need regular maintenance all summer long.
Yeah, so that- yeah.
Do you want me to move along, or?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Rec is not here.
Not here.
Parks and,
Yeah.
newsletter.
So just
Bernie.
on the newsletter, thanks to everybody, for their contributions. It was printed today. I didn't get to pick it up, but we're picking it up and getting it distributed, so everybody should see it in their mailbox, I expect, early next week, which is great, and that's another good one. Project Nectar, so, for the folks here, is a project between the Seniors Friendly Circle and the Southern Kings Environmental Association. They've added to the community garden there, and they have quite a vision of engaging members of the community in growing food and then doing workshops with food here. And last year was their first year with that, and it's funded through United Way. And they're in the process of trying to secure the second year of funding for that. It's $25,000 for the first year, $25,000 for the second year. So significant investment in the community. At this point, they have informally requested of the council some support to work on getting water supplied over to the community garden, tapping into water from this structure here and getting it over to the community garden. So in the package for the councilors today, there was a letter seeking, what was the language? Support in principle. I guess they're looking to see a little bit more formalized support or written response of support from the council that they can take back to their funder.
Do you want me to read that paragraph?
Sure.
To ensure the long-term sustainability of this well-received initiative and make participation safer and more accessible for our seniors, we respectfully request the municipality's permission to hook into the community center's existing water line. At this stage, we are seeking approval in principle. We will follow up with a quote and full technical details once permission has been granted after consulting with a certified plumber contractor.
It's called a hose.
The way it's written, it sounds like they're looking for like a permanent water line, which is why when I read it, I was like, wait a minute, last month we said no to that. We said they could hook up a hose, like you said, John, but here they're specifically talking about a water line.
I didn't hear a no. I didn't hear a no at the last meeting, and if I had it, I would have communicated that to them. So I shared with them the feedback and the questions from the various counselors around the table at the last meeting, and this is how they've responded. So in the meantime, they haven't had the opportunity to flesh out what their year 2 plan looks like. They still have some desire to create a water solution, given the feedback from the users that they are challenged to move water around physically to the beds, given its current setup. So they don't have the solution defined at this point. They're just asking for us to say, can they come to us with an idea once they have some funding in place? So they're in this place where they're like, the funder's saying, well, do you think you can do that? And we're over here saying, well, what are you gonna do? and they need somebody to say, yeah, we support the idea, so that you can move forward with actually engaging, contractors. But I know, and I did tell them that there is a sentiment among the council that the solution is a water hose. But I didn't think that was necessarily, something that had been decided.
How much do garden users pay for their plots?
They don't.
How are they allocated? Is there a lineup yet?
First come, first served, yeah.
Is there a waiting list?
No. No. And again, so we have the community garden, Gary knows more about the history there, the original plots that were put there, or that's not the right word. And then this project invested and put it another 8 or so, right? So they're managing the back half of that garden, those that they invested in those shrubs, and they're working with the Friendly Circle to engage their members in using that.
Are they building more gardens?
How much water a week do they use?
Well, these are the things we need to know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with them using water from this facility, but if it's gonna deter the pressure for the users in this building, that's not good. I don't see anything wrong with us, in principle, saying, yeah, come to us with the idea. Are you using 100 gallons a day, or is it 1,000,
Yes.
you know, like, what is it?
Yeah.
They think they're gonna need.
Well, the reason I ask is like, we could get, or they could get a few of those blue barrels, the blue ones, and,
For more capture.
well, and I mean, I could fill it up. I
Right.
could fill it up here and I
Yeah.
could take it over with the tractor and refill them.
Yeah, so it could be a very low, there could be a
Something like that,
very
right?
low tech solution. Like,
Yeah.
there could be a very low tech solution. I don't think.
Mind you, one of the things that we had talked about, and I do remember this specifically last month, was our concern around standing water slots.
Okay.
And that we didn't want to have standing water over there because there's a risk.
Yeah.
Breeding mosquitoes and
Mosquitoes,
stuff.
everything else, yeah.
So that's a concern as well. I mean, I don't think there's a problem with agreeing in principle.
So, I mean, even the agreeing in principle would be about, can they run a hose? Because really what they're asking is, can we use your water? Right, that's what that's asking.
And I think it's just about how much, right? Like, how much water are they using?
Yeah.
We have no idea.
Yeah, so we're not agreeing to anything specific.
I guess we just have to tell them in an official response is that, yeah, we would be willing to let you use our water, but we need to see how much and what.
Depending on
if
the
they want to put
details.
a tube in just a 200 garden hose, that's one thing, or they want to put a carpet line underground, 3 feet underground.
With the watering system? No.
Right? So
They
they're
have to
paying
come
for it.
back. I don't, there's a question on the floor, I don't know who deals with that.
Yeah, just what about those collective rain barrels that you could get? Put them there?
They have those already, and so
them.
they've even filling them and carrying them.
Yeah.
It's
not easy.
So Margaret would like to speak, she is a user of the garden.
Okay, so I've had a community garden bed for a couple of years. Again, how much you're gonna use is gonna depend on how much it rains. There's no way to say exactly how much we can use. I'm definitely not the strongest person in the room, I'm sure, but carrying those pails of water is not easy. And basically, I was about the only one, Wendy sometimes, but then Wendy found herself watering all of the Southeast Environmental, and that was carrying jugs of water, and that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
you have
hard
to
to
lift it
do.
up high.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have tendonitis in this arm now.
Go ahead, Andy.
If I had solutions to offer, who would I speak to?
You can, the contact for the project.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
It sounds like just getting water there is not what they need. They need to irrigate, they need to spread it around so nobody has to carry it.
Yeah, it needs to be a way that somebody
So it's
doesn't
not
have to
just
lug.
getting water over there
Water,
with a
because
spigot
that's
and you
just
fill up
not,
your jug.
that's not
They want
something they're gonna be
irrigation
able to do.
Or a hose.
A hose is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Again, right, like.
A hose, as long as it can reach to all the
Yeah,
beds,
exactly.
is fine.
Yeah, and not be 50 pounds that you're trying to drag around.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because
we don't need to get into the
Okay.
weeds, I don't think. There are solutions, right? And I'd be glad to hear, Andrea, your thoughts.
So Maureen, do I need to, do you have a motion to council to approve that, or are you just gonna go back to them and say council supports bringing something more concrete to them?
They want something in writing.
Okay,
Yeah, just like a written response.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
Do you need a motion for that?
No.
I wouldn't think so. I will give them the written response, and if they need anything more, I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Sewage utility, Councilor White.
Sewage utility, we've kind of been at a standstill for a while, but Margaret, we're gonna
Yeah.
hopefully have a meeting next week.
Yeah, we hope to have a meeting next week. We finally got the quote from the engineering company for what needs to be done, which is basically they're gonna come in, they're gonna sort of look at everything we have already. And then the most important part really is the sludge survey and sampling. So they're going to be, because the lagoons are 30 years old now, and that's sort of, time to do something, time limit. So they will collect sludge samples, analyze those, they will prepare reports, and they will give us an opinion as to the probable cost of whatever needs to be done once they have done those things.
Will they also give us an estimated life remaining?
Probably we can get that too,
Oh, we
yes.
need that.
I have a whole thing here that most of it is Greek to me, but I can certainly run copies tonight, or I can make copies available.
How much does this cost? 20 grand?
Yeah. The estimate,
For the event.
the estimate for undertaking to do the report is 22,500. And then HST on top of that, I guess.
Where's that coming from?
That's what I was gonna ask, where's
Not
it
quite
coming
sure.
from?
From their budget.
Not quite
Sewage
sure.
utility budget
Well,
is where it would come from.
Let's find it.
And we are
Before
planning,
they get
we are
here.
planning to go to Iraq for an increase, but the problem was to go to Iraq for an increase, we needed to know what capital costs we would be looking at in the next little while, and what the status of the lagoon was, and that's kind of where, and it's just been like pulling hen's teeth to get this much out of the engineer.
So does the sewage utility have that kind of money?
There is that amount of money in the account right now.
Now, I'm picturing a lagoon, so can somebody help me? Where is the sewage?
It's, if you're going down.
Across the road from your place.
Across the road from it. It's so efficient, we never know what's there.
Go for a walk north.
Smell it from your place.
When the wind's blowing right, so I could just ask the sewage committee. I did speak to Stephen about the idea of coming to a council meeting, and he said that's very difficult for him to do, but he would be more than happy if council wanted to meet with him on Saturday or something. He can answer questions and then maybe take council for a tour of the sewage utility.
Who's that?
Stephen McKay.
Steve.
Yeah.
Lawrence is planning to meet with Stephen and go over this with him and the budget. Apparently, we have to have a budget as well. So that's something we've been working on, but we need some input from Stephen. And Lawrence is kind of our liaison with Stephen. So that's hopefully happening. We hope to have a meeting next week.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Lawrence Harms.
EMO.
Yep, so I already pretty much gave the update, other than we're the company out west and spoke to them. And we're waiting for some back ordered pulleys for the theater curtains, once that Harbour's in. They'll send in an email to let us know that they've been shipped.
Okay. Fundraising.
Fundraising, well, we have another one that we forgot about is small halls.
Oh,
So it is a go, isn't it?
Yep.
Where, what date is it at the
June
Harbour?
21st. Got
Which
the sign
is-
up on the door out there.
What day of the week?
Saturday.
Saturday. So we need to make a chowder and two types of chowder, a fish chowder and corn chowder, I guess, and some sweets and that for the entertainers. It's not a big thing, but something I'll work on. I have to go.
Instead of 2 chowders, my husband makes a mean chili if you would like him to make chili in the chowder.
Okay, okay.
Just put it on.
How many chowder are you looking at?
Just
There's
the
not many
fish,
musicians.
some lobster.
Yeah, but look
How
how big a
much?
pot.
There's not many
Oh,
musicians.
probably a pot around
Ooh.
that big.
How many
Just
people
a
are we
little
catering for?
But
How many people are we catering for?
probably 8 or 10 people.
Oh, so, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the entertainers and the
Okay.
Oh.
lighting and sound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't sell
What?
it. You don't sell it.
That was a big one.
No, we don't sell it, no.
And tickets to small halls are available online and also at the village office.
Who's playing?
And it's a fundraiser, what do we get out of that?
50%.
If you look in my office, there's a sheet on the chair.
Okay.
I think that's all I have to report for now.
That's it? All right.
Product chowder and a loaf of your bread will be great.
Yeah.
Monday is on that.
Go ahead.
We have a new member on our committee, Natalie Prentice, and she had a lot of connections with corporations. And she's offered to reach out to get some sponsorship for some of our events. So right now, she's looking at getting sponsorship for like the bouncy castle for Canada Day. And we're hoping to hire a magician for the back to school event. We're kind of cognizant that it's like, we don't want to do bouncy castle again because it was so cold last year. But we thought if we had a magician, then it could be outside or inside, depending on what the weather's like. So we're looking at these small donations to cover some very specific things for these events, and then it gives us more money to kind of put towards food and stuff like that. But she's been very good at offering to do that.
You're gonna have the bouncy castle, aren't you? on
Yeah.
Canada?
Yeah. We're having,
September, I said back to school.
we're hoping
We had
to
bouncy
have
castle
it
for both last year. It was
paid
too cold.
for by someone else up in us.
All right, we're gonna move on to business. Motion for the Murray Harbour Fire Department to apply for the Rural Growth Initiative for a grant to purchase new airbags.
So in order for the fire department to access the funds through Rural Growth Initiative, because they're still under the village, we need to have a motion from council that supports that.
Well, I'm all for it, but tell me, what is in your pack?
Strut that.
Yeah, whatever they put on their back to breathe when they go in.
Yeah, I think they need them.
They need
Oh, second.
them. All in favor?
Oh my God, maybe it was just. That's amazing.
Come here, please.
The stuff just keeps moving off like that. Oh, it's
Maybe
great.
you're doing 7 o'clock.
You can get it for
Yeah, I think we got a big one.
Okay. Dogs at large. Here.
It's not my subject, not my agenda item, but I recall it was at the first or second meeting we had as a council, this was on it. And we're still talking about it, and I think we'll get somewhere with it this time, because it's obviously an ongoing issue of great concern to a large number of people.
So just to, with respect to that, John, it was February 8th, 2023, it was raised. And it was looked into, and then we'd have to contract with the Humane Society to have them come or have a bylaw officer.
So have we had has anything changed from that?
I have asked the executive of the Humane Society to give me information on pricing. And I've also reached out to Donna Johnson, who does the bylaw enforcement in Three Rivers, Surrey, Alberton, a whole bunch of areas, to see that if we did reinstitute the dog bylaw, we need somebody to enforce it. So I'm waiting for them to come back on
And that would
costs.
be an hourly cost, a salary position, on call. who knows?
Don't know, I'm
It'd
waiting
be
to
at
hear
least
back.
$2,000. It used to be 1,600, I know that.
But if we have a bylaw, dog bylaw, dog at large, or what we call it, that costs us nothing.
Yes.
The bylaw
That's,
itself,
in my
it's the
opinion,
enforcement.
in my opinion, that's the first step. I've had a couple of residents come to me with some real issues, some terrible pictures. And I think the first step, in my opinion, is to get a dog bylaw, call it dogs at large or animals at large. I guess we'll start with dogs. Then worry about getting the officer down here. Because right now, there's no recourse other than going for small claims court.
In what context with this bylaw, I'm thinking of like unsightly building law, we have of unsightly buildings, they don't list very far.
And we can only do what we can do.
Yeah.
It's the government, but we have a bylaw, a municipal bylaw, and there's a dog problem. We can call up the officer, the bylaw officer, and.
Who's bylaw officer?
Pardon me?
Who's bylaw officer?
It doesn't matter. There's a bylaw officer, whether it's in Montague or Charlottetown, we'll have to go to a bylaw officer to come here to enforce it. Could be that day, could be the next week, could be strictly at the convenience of that person, whenever they can fit us into their schedule. But that's all, the first step, in my opinion, is get the bylaw in place. And an individual have a problem, they've got something that they can, take it to court, or at least get the person that owns that animal, that's done damage to them, their family. And then, let's face it, these animals, these creatures are parts of families. Mm-hmm. And right now, I've seen pictures of evidence where one was almost murdered. That could have been my granddaughter. Could be a child.
Exactly. I'm
So this is like,
child.
no more, in my opinion, waiting and hemming and hawing and getting quotes about the officers to come down. Let's get the bylaw out, get the wording we want. I think you may have an example of one.
So just to give a little bit of history, there was originally a dog bylaw.
Yeah.
It was in 1989, it was put in. And it was repealed in 2013, I'm presuming because of an enforcement issue. I don't know, far before my time. So there is a repealed dog bylaw that we could then take and look at and update. The issue you're going to look at is licensing. Because if you're in an unincorporated area, you go to the province for your dog license. If you are in an incorporated area, the province expects you to look after that. So we would need to see if there's a way, not for us to issue dog licenses, but people would still get their dog license from the province.
A bylaw would not have to have a stipulation of a license, would it?
Or that's the other option.
You have to have, it's, in my opinion, it's all or nothing. If we're going to go down this road, then every dog in Murray Harbour must have a license.
What is the anticipated compliance rate?
Yeah.
With our bylaw?
As much as it is now.
That's it, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I agree with you, John.
Because the people who are responsible for the cats won't have a problem with this. People who are not responsible with their
Are
cats.
gonna change.
But then if you have a bylaw that then gives animal enforcement something to work from, if you
So
don't.
right now, we have no recourse?
No, it was
I
repealed.
thought it fell back on something provincial. It doesn't.
Only in instances of damage or
Death.
death.
Certain severity, okay.
And mostly centered around livestock.
No, domestic animals as well.
No.
Domestic animals as well.
Domestic, yeah.
One of the things Ann and I talked about it just a little bit this afternoon. Because I was surprised and I sent an email to all of you guys saying, can I get some context for this? Because we've already talked about this before. One of the things that I suggested to Ann.
There's some context for it.
Oh, I know. No. I understand. I have seen the pictures, facial issues. I'm not trying, I don't understand.
Don't minimize it.
I'm absolutely not.
You are.
I'm very sorry if that's how you take it, but that is absolutely not my intent.
I am a dog lover and an owner as well, and I was horrified when I saw this.
That's happening in our town.
I agree.
And it's not just, that's not the only thing that's happening like that. You know, and you know, I didn't get a chance to talk to them. I'm pretty upset about this, but I was supposed to talk. Now look, the majority of people in this community are good dog owners. They're responsible. We only have a few irresponsible people that are causing these problems. We got to deal with those irresponsible people. I wish we could just deal with it through education and just meet with these people and say, you can't do this, you just can't. The Dog Act applies to the whole province, and it says you can't let your dog off onto the streets or run amok. You can't do that. But, and you're right, the enforcement is obviously going to be an issue. But the animal protection officer I talked to said, if you had a bylaw, at least I could do something here. Like, she won't ignore it. Claire told me that she wouldn't ignore that what happened here, except that we don't have a bylaw. And it makes it very difficult, because the only way she can do it is go to the Crown prosecutor and lay charges and try to have a dog deemed a dangerous dog and then put down.
If that's all it takes is for us to have a bylaw, then I'm the first one to say, let's put it back in place. Like, I don't know.
Claire said that if you had a bylaw, I could do something, just like Gary's. And even with licensing, I don't know if you don't have licensing, it's not the end of the world. I know the province issues that, and maybe the province would issue licenses for us. They do that in Access PEI in Montpelier, because all the unincorporated areas have to have a license. So, I mean, let's just get a bylaw first, and then try to deal with a few. There's only about 3 or 4 dogs that are really bad. Most people take responsibility.
Money talks, if they're fine because their dogs are loose. I went and talked to the guy after the second time our dog was attacked. He vehemently denied it was his dog. And rather than have a fist fight with the guy, I said, okay. Now, for the 3rd time his dog attacked our dog in our driveway, I called the animal control, and she told me the only thing that we can do is to defend our dogs if they come on our property again, is we're fully within our rights to shoot the dog.
Shoot, yeah. It's right in the Dog Act.
Exactly right. What people have guns in the house, rifles on their property.
If that happened to my dog, I don't have a dog now, but if that happened to my dog, I'd be able to 12 gauge, and I guarantee you wouldn't leave here.
That's not a dog.
But that's not what you want. That's not what we want in the community, do we? We don't want people.
We don't want that. You know, honestly,
No. You know, but let's start with a bylaw. Let's get a bylaw.
Yeah, and
start
to
somewhere, so.
what Derek's saying, and I think Gary too, and I don't have the context here, this is all news to me, and that's fine, and I didn't dig into it like Pam did. But I think, like, let's not try to solve the world, like, let's just get the simple bylaw that we need, so that we can get these control people out and start making phone calls, like, let's just try to keep the scope really narrow for now.
Yeah, and I think we do not talk about licensing in our bylaw. That's a provincial act.
Yeah, like, let's see if we.
It is, but it isn't.
It is.
As an incorporated area, it's supposed to be up to us for licensing. So if we're putting a dog bylaw in, my question is, do you have to have licensing in it, or can you decide that Murray Harbour is not going to have?
Was it in the one in 83 or 87?
Yes.
It was $5 and $10, depending if it was neutered or not.
Yeah. You could maybe go, instead of a dog license, I was looking at one of the areas in Alberta, and instead of having a dog license, it's mandatory that your dog must have a name tag either on their collar or on their harness with updated information.
It would be an issue
That's
for a bylaw, people kept their dogs on leashes, you don't need.
Yeah, people need to realize this is people say it's the countryside.
No.
It is not the countryside.
Heaven forbid anyone that happens to run over one of these dogs that you're not expecting to see driving across the side.
Yeah. I've come across that accident, actually. I've seen it
Because
happen.
no one
And then once dogs attack something, they will come back to still more, or it will escalate. So it could result in a child being bitten or someone else's pet being killed. I've already had an animal killed, so.
And I had the tough decision where I had a dog that bit, and we had to put her down immediately. That was it. Like, not going to be around for another chance at a child or another dog, or.
That's because you're a responsible
So, and I don't want to see animals being euthanized.
Yeah.
It can be a training and responsible dog. issue, but people have to be accountable.
So many new kids in the neighborhood. They have a couple
Oh,
of
especially on
dogs,
Harbour.
and those free range dogs, they're 140 pounds.
And there's 2 new ones now. I don't know who they belong to, but they popped up in the harbor just in the last couple of weeks.
Another black lab.
The black lab and the setter that run together, which
Yeah,
is
they're
even
doing-
more dangerous.
Yeah. So people are just opening the door in the morning and saying, go, see you later, come back when you're on deep bed. Very irresponsible, just
I don't know how they're getting loose, but they are, so then steps need to be taken.
Once it's a mistake, but for some of these dogs, it's becoming very routine.
Yeah.
They're running loose all the time.
No, that's right, it's all.
Yeah, there's no set time, it could be any time of the day.
So what's the procedure you
So-
got to follow in place?
I have done a draft motion, so that council hereby approve updating and reinstating bylaw 101, a bylaw to provide for the control of animals, which was originally passed by council February 1st, 1989, and was repealed August 7th, 2013.
So is there wording in that, I haven't read it, is there wording in that or that would apply to this day and age? Is it?
Yeah, your fines are a giggle. And you would need to update it with respect to the licenses. Is it something you, instead of having a license, you do the name tag or, so it would need some work.
Could I ask Derek, would you be interested to read that over, Derek? Unless you
Sure.
already got a copy.
Yeah, I do, I have a copy of it.
And give us your suggestions on what would make it more appropriate.
And I looked at all the ones on the island, just about, right, a lot of communities have it on bylaw. And it's funny, the new ones, or the ones we're using today are very similar to the one we used, back then. Hasn't changed.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Because I would like, we only have one more council meeting before our summer break.
Right.
And do we have to read this 3 times?
Yes,
And
so it
restate
would
them,
have to
or-
be read at 2 council meetings.
So we have a special council meeting.
We can do
Um,
online.
So you would need to get it reworked, and then you could read it at June. And then you could have a special council meeting in July to pass it.
Or even the next week.
We could do a second
Sooner the
reading
better.
the following week. Is there a certain amount of time?
Just
that we
like
have
to-
wait?
I'm not sure.
to assure us that, I know we can't pass a bylaw against specific dogs and specific owners, but I want to be sure that the bylaw we pass will target the problems we've got
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
And not just general, everybody can survive dog license. I want these people held accountable.
Does that sound reasonable to you guys?
Sure.
What else we can do is,
What would it cost to do a mail out to the community so that everyone got a letter stipulating rules?
when it's in place, I think we would probably
Yeah.
handle that.
Yeah, it's not great.
You send us a
Yeah.
newsletter,
Yeah.
you send it to every household, right?
That'd be a good
Good
idea.
to have reminders here.
No, I just suggested if we put it in the next newsletter.
Well,
newsletter's
and
already
both
done.
maybe.
It's already done.
Yeah, and both.
But it would be till like November.
Yep, that's in Easter, that's in the
For the
fall.
next-
Not everyone-
yeah.
a lot of people-
I think it would be better to just put it in that, the bylaws.
Oh, you have to put it in there.
So if we can get the wording, you look at it, Derek, and get it back to me, and whoever, on anybody in council, and we'll have a first reading of it at our next meeting.
Yeah, as long
But
as,
between now and then, it all.
We can circulate it before.
That
and
sounds,
I can work with Derek on that.
okay.
I'll help whatever way I can as well.
Yeah, and hopefully by, mid-July, it's a done deal, second and third readings.
And as I said, there has to be education too, it's like
Yeah.
anything else in society, you can pass all kinds of laws, but it helps just to educate people. We have to figure out how to do that.
I never wanna see
Well,
that.
maybe that can be part of the enforcement as a
Yeah.
requirement.
Did I need to read the bylaw again, or the motion?
How do we?
No, not for me.
Yeah.
So I need a, yeah, I need a seconder.
Second, Mike, so we have a question.
I have a question that touches bylaw. Livestock in an urban area, not in a rural area. There is a provincial bylaw against that.
Okay, well, we're not talking about livestock tonight, but I hear you.
I thought there's backyard.
We're not urban though. That's
This,
the problem.
yeah, this is not urban.
We're not
We're
urban.
rural.
We're rural.
We're a rural
The
municipality.
village is
village is
considered
rural.
rural?
Yeah.
Rural.
It's actually the rural municipality of Murray Harbour, that's the official name.
According to Access PEI, we technically fall under like a community that should not have livestock.
Livestock in the community. According to Access PEI.
That will be agenda
That
for
would,
next
that would
meeting.
have to be in the
Increases
agenda.
our risk of avian flu, it increases our risk of H1N1, you have smell, you have like waste.
It's no different than dogs running around the harbor killing chickens either, right? It goes both ways.
Prove it.
Prove it.
So when people ask, they call and ask this question, I refer them to the province for property usage. And they will say exactly what you are and are not allowed to do based on your property identification number.
Okay.
So I get that question quite a bit.
Okay.
But it's a valid point, Mike, and we should talk more about it. I think I've mentioned this before too. It evolves into the whole bylaw situation.
The official plan.
Exactly. So where I live, there's somebody could come up and set up a butcher shop beside me, slaughterhouse. Couldn't do a thing about it. Would you like that beside you?
What about breeding dogs? That's a lot of dogs in one
Yeah. I
household.
think there's, without an official bylaw, we fall in the umbrella of the province. And these things are all part of it. There's like 100 different topics, you know? A guy could have the property beside him turn into a welding shop, and there's trucks, and there's a recycling plant for bottles and scrap metal. It's just, where do you draw the line? It could be chickens one day, and the next day there's 3 Holsteins there. And then there's buffalo. You know, where does it stop and start? You gotta, and you're in the middle of all this, you know, you've got livestock, and it's an issue that has to be talked about, you know?
Yeah, and it's also something that I made sure that both my realtor and myself looked into fully before purchasing that property, that it was allowed.
Yeah.
And proper practices are being put in place to ensure that my community is safe.
Yeah.
But an animal coming onto my property and killing
Oh, yeah, that's a
my
different
livestock
animal
that's
is
loose.
not, it's not on.
That's
So-
a different thing, yeah, for sure. Okay, that's definitely a topic for next time around.
That'll be in the next one.
Okay, what's this? Yes. Okay, sorry.
Right.
Livestock?
Yeah, here's what I think about it more. You think of livestock, there's cats,
Property
there's
use.
cats.
What did you call it? What you refer people to? What they have-
It's property and taxation.
Okay.
So they will tell you exactly what you can and cannot do with your property.
Here's first
There
I
is
find
proof of someone's dog taking your chicken, because I saw it run by my front window with chicken in its mouth.
But you have a chicken run free.
Free.
Natural
On a dog
instinct for
that's
an
never
animal.
free.
That's never free?
Very, very rarely.
And time and
I'll
time.
prove it.
Okay,
They
come on,
came out
guys,
like
guys.
that by
This is
accident.
not the place for discussion of that. Sorry, guys, but have to cut
I
that
hope
out.
so.
Already done that.
That'll be for next meeting. What's that?
Next.
Animals.
Okay, but at next meeting, you're looking at reading the bylaw.
Dog.
Yes, we want to have
The
something
dog
to
bylaw,
approve
yeah.
for the dogs, yes.
So I had a move by Pam and a second by Marlene.
Yeah, I need a vote.
All in favor? Christmas gifts, village employees.
John,
Well, why not? I mean,
You want
everyone's
that
here,
on
it's
the
just
agenda.
a small matter, and it's financial, so it should be on the table. Last Christmas, it was a little confusing buying Anne's Christmas present and all of us paying for it. And I think it went on the village credit card, and my reimbursement went to Jill's account, and it was just untidy. And I think this year, if we could all just put $20 in the hat as the gift fund for our village employees, rather than all of this accounting.
It ran through the credit card here?
Yes,
Okay.
How many employees do we have?
2. Or three.
Well, three.
Three.
And the
Yeah.
seasonal, right?
So whatever, I mean, we,
Yeah.
they're personal gifts from counselors to the people who work so hard to keep our lives running. They're not a village expense, and I think we should just throw the money in a hat and keep it out of the village accounts.
Yep.
Or personally, as one of the receivers of a gift, I'm paid very well. I don't feel it's necessary for you guys.
No, but it's a gesture. It's a
Yeah.
gesture, I mean, it wasn't a lot of money.
No, you still got the card.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me too. I really want to see you guys work so hard on it.
And that's the thing,
That you
we get
know.
paid, you guys do a lot of work and.
So you can give up the gift.
I'll make you a short present.
There we go. Cards.
Shannon,
Problem solved.
Shannon.
Or Christmas.
Now, I don't know how we
Christmas
have
dinner.
the counselor's dinner, same thing, just keep it off.
Yeah,
Just pay cash.
yeah, which I think that was,
Yeah, Shannon started with
okay. Point well made.
Next.
Okay, I'll push that out later.
Murray Harbour pins.
Okay, a while ago, I was asked to look into pricing out Murray Harbour pins. We have had them in the past. Information, we've had them in the past, and when we had the winter games, we went through what we had. So I have priced out new pins, and for 1,000 pins, it's $1,600. So it works out to about $1.60 a pin, and when we sold them, I believe we sold them for $4.95.
Oh, we sell.
Where do you sell?
People come in and ask to buy pins, tourists.
Oh.
We do get the odd request, I get mail-in requests, people collect them and.
Do we ever give them away?
Yes.
You used to?
Yes.
Yes.
Because when I go away to sporting events, I always
Yeah.
come to the village and they do them.
Do we have an advertising budget for it, or promotion budget?
Miscellaneous
Promotion.
expenses. That's where it would come out of, is miscellaneous.
I think we,
Expenses.
I think if we're gonna approve this, we approve it on not getting any money selling them.
Yeah. That's-
Okay.
If we have the money to buy them,
That's right.
with our discretion to hand them out. If somebody wants, we shouldn't agree, we'll get them if we can sell them.
Yeah. that's
No,
what
I was
I'm
just letting you know that in the past, that's what. they-
Yeah, that sounds kind of
You
strange.
can still sell them, but not make it a condition. I know this is our logo, and it was a contest, and it's well deserved, but could we, if we're going to do it, could we make it a little more legible on such a little pin? Because you really have to lean in there to read Murray Harbour in yellow on pale blue.
I
Or is
think
that
it,
just my age?
I think it's in silver, but I could
Okay.
ask him to,
Might be your age.
in black.
Black would be better, I think.
Yeah.
I could ask him to, excuse me, send a proof with the Murray Harbour in black. I think that would be, yeah.
If you can't read it, there's no point in
Yeah.
handing them up.
Okay,
Do we
so
need a motion for that?
if I'm spending money, I need a
We need a
motion.
motion.
So,
I so moved.
yeah.
Read the resolution.
All in favor?
That council hereby approve the purchase of 1,000 Murray Harbour pins in the amount of $1,600, taxes and shipping extra.
I so moved.
Where did they come from?
International Coat of Arms, Kingston, Ontario.
Okay.
It's Canadian.
You got one coming from China.
No,
Or the US.
or do you,
All in favor?
Although the metal might come from the US, who knows?
Recreation area.
yeah,
Next one.
me.
That's you, babe.
And unfortunately, Kelly is not here. This year, it became apparent to me that we had a little bit of a problem between the time that the snowball melts and when Shannon starts at the beginning of June.
Unfortunately, my granddaughter was over in the park on Monday night, knelt down and ended up at the hospital getting stitches in her leg, because of this broken glass over.
Where? Like at the playground?
Not in the playground, over near where the rink is over there. So obviously we have to do something. We have to protect the kids that are playing around. I'm not sure what the solution is.
When did Shannon come back?
Not till the beginning of June.
What?
Not till the beginning
Not
of
till
June.
June.
Oh, okay.
And
could we hire her to come clean this problem up?
Well,
Can't just a few of us go over, just, I feel like.
I've done that.
You just have to sign up that there, nothing in glass bottles.
What's that?
Would you not put signs up at there and not have glass bottles allowed?
Well, do you think they would?
That's right. Yes.
I know, I'm still perplexed at the rating of it. Why would you bother? We're kicking to get another smash in glass.
Yeah. What about, is there no cameras over there?
Yep, there is.
And you can't see who's doing it?
I don't have time to look at the camera.
It could have happened.
So what's the point in having it when they put the camera?
It could have been.
It could have been months and months ago.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
nobody
getting at too.
knows about it.
Nobody brought it to her attention
Yeah.
until.
Was it related
her
to?
granddaughter, so.
It happens in the rink as well a lot, like. when we-
That's a rink too?
Inside.
In the rink.
We have to see.
Well, we do have cameras
That's no.
pointing that way, don't we?
We do, but you would have to get everything cleaned up so that you know it's new.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
like right now, you have no idea
That's
if
right.
it was.
Yeah.
Who did what?
If it
Yeah.
was 2 years ago or 4
Yeah.
years ago or
Yeah.
yesterday.
And I think it can be an issue down at Railhead Park as well.
No doubt.
Well, just
Well,
for
somebody
everybody's
came
knowledge.
to me over that. Who was it coming? Gordon, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Does Gordon empty our outdoor garbage cans?
It's not part of his duties. He's the janitor for the building. He does the garbage, like immediately around the building and takes the dump run.
Would he be willing to make a few extra dollars by just checking out the grounds as well? And if he sees broken glass or bottles or trash, to pick it up?
I can ask him.
Because I think that'd be the natural first choice, and he's out there picking up the garbage on the existing garbage bins. He could have a look, do a walkabout, take 5 minutes to pick up a few cans and sweep up some glass.
Well, he's got 3 kids in the area. I mean,
Yeah.
he is as concerned as anyone about this issue.
So
Shouldn't be going on, period.
if they need, let's say it's a couple hours a week, my goodness, it's really nothing for our budget, right? Especially at snowmelt, and stuff starts to appear.
Goodness,
Well, that was the time before the grass gets growing,
Yeah.
because you can't see, once the grass gets growing, you're not gonna see it.
It could be hired as required for a couple hours every now and then. And just,
Well, even if you could go around and just take a check of the grounds just over here and see if there is any new
That's
stuff
like, all
out there.
across the city, you got the 2 playgrounds here, the adult and children, and the soccer field, the outdoor rink, and the asphalt pad, the basketball, and community garden, and dog park, a lot of stuff right over there.
well, and I took a walk around just to see, and around where the rink is, like Natalie was saying, there is glass in various places around.
Okay.
And I think, like, to your very first comment, that Kelly should be looped into
Well,
this
Kelly,
conversation,
sure.
right? And she has a volunteer
Yeah.
that offered to help with maintaining the park, so I think maybe just involving them too.
She should take the lead on it. She's
Yeah.
the park and recreation lead counselor. So.
But at this point, like, my request is that somebody cleans it up like yesterday. Like, it has to get
Is it-
cleaned up.
is it-
Okay.
is it
Sounds
bad
bad.
shape
Well,
right
I'll
now?
volunteer if I have a couple people go with me.
I'll help you with that.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The first time.
Get us back to ground zero phase.
Go from there.
Okay, I guess we're ready for the motion to adjourn.
Natalie, did you have something you want? I just,
Oh, sorry.
as you all know, I live all the time at the dog park, very noisy dogs, and everybody knows them. When I've been there, there's been kids over at the rink smashing the door, like literally just opening the door and smashing it. And opening it and smashing it, like, my thoughts are that their intention is to see if they can break it or, like whatever, I just,
When that happens, if you come and let me know the next day, then I can go back and look at the cameras.
well, they saw me looking at them, and they, like, I just kind of stood there.
Because we will do something, because
Definitely.
we had people break into our little storage shack over there. And this stuff, they put it back, and it goes past our door, and we brought them right in here, Terry brought them in here. And we spoke to those.
no.
Oh, yeah, 5 kids, and they sat at this table right here, and their parents were sitting over there.
Yep.
So you let us know that, and we'll.
We'll deal with it.
Terry was
I'll grab the whole.
Terry was easy, I don't want to call the cop, Terry said, nope, talk to him first.
Yeah.
Talk to him first.
I think Terry's scarier to come.
Well, we're all young ones, we don't see things.
Hearing about planting.
You get right the first time,
First time.
second time you won't.
We adjourn?
Yep.
Somebody's coming again.
Oh,
Yeah.
All in favor of adjournment? Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I just wanted to say we have a Terry.
I get that.
Yeah,